Maybe.
Okay, so we're live, so we could start anytime you want.
All right, Connor. Kenny?
Yeah?
Do you want to start us off, like always?
Oh, okay. We live?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
live.
Did I miss
Oh my
that?
God.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the Cabin Podcast.
Look, man, just
It's me.
do it normally, please.
All right. It's not
Thank
fun
you.
if I do it normally, though.
I don't care if you're having fun or not.
Just
Okay.
be somewhat realistic with
What the
it,
fuck is this, man?
or not too realistic though.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Cabin Podcast. It's me, your pal, your friend, your neighbor, Kenny.
Hopefully not.
And today, I have 3 terrorists with me. Cameron,
Hey, that's
Alan,
me.
Mm-hmm.
and Connor. Today, we're going to be talking about realism in gaming.
Yeah.
Cameron, why don't you go ahead
Okay.
and lead this discussion?
Okay. Well, oh Jesus.
Let's
Well-
pop that boy open.
You could stop doing the
I'm
act.
the alcoholic. I'm the alcoholic. Okay.
Okay,
Cameron,
can I start?
Cameron, take the floor.
Take the
I'm
floor.
just gonna-
Okay, I'm here.
I'm just metaphorically staring daggers at Alan.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So, I forgot how, because we made this to be the previous video, or no, the previous podcast, but someone was a no-show. So
I wasn't.
I
first of
didn't
all,
say anyone. You didn't have to say
Connor-
anything.
No.
Let's
Because
kill
Connor
Alan.
wasn't here.
I was taking the GRE. I think we still think we should kill Alan.
Oh
I
yeah,
still-
Connor was
Well,
gone
dude.
too.
I had a hangover and I slept for like 9 hours. I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I
You know what,
I forgive
I'm the
you.
alcoholic. I'm the alcoholic.
It was one day. I don't drink normally.
What were you gonna say, Kenny?
Before we start this discussion, how about we go ahead and talk about our past weeks?
Weeks. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kenny, I know yours is very eventful, so we'll save yours to last.
Okay.
I'll start. Let's see. Oh, yesterday I went to a bingo, like competitive bingo.
Bingo.
Yeah, and I went with my roommate. We were the youngest people there. Everyone was over their 70s or 60s. I don't know. They all look the same.
Why on earth did you do this?
Old people look alike.
It was advertised, and we're like, hey, let's go to bingo. There's like cash prizes, and it was like really intense. And I never experienced that before in my life. It was a
Welcome
good
to
experience.
Gambling, boy.
Now, do you have to pay to get into the bingo ring?
You no, you have to pay for tickets, like the actual card sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy multiple for a single round. So you have 6
Ah.
per like round. So you have more of a chance. There's a lot of people here for this. And the cash prize at the end was like $1,200.
But
No
did
one
you
won.
win it?
No, no one won it because they only announced 53 numbers instead of all of them. So no one got. You had to cover the sheet in bingo. I'm tired of talking about bingo. How was your day or week, Alan?
Sounds like a scam.
Probably was.
Sounds like Cameron's been put through a fucking lot.
Yeah, sounds like
Yeah.
a fucking scam.
Yeah, I woke up in the back of a Denny's alley. It
It's
was
just like
quite a
it's
night.
just like, I just like to see picture Cameron sitting and doing like bingo, and he hears B5, and it's like, oh, I have that on my board. And he's
And
about to put
it goes
down.
so fast. It's like
I know.
B10 and
No,
I-30.
I just like to picture you like about to put it down, and then you see some like old 75-year-old man lift up his shirt, and you could see a gun sticking out of his belt, and you just skip that one.
It was kind of like that because I was sitting by like these old guys, and they kept eyeing me like I was competition.
Who the
Like I
who
didn't
was it?
belong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old
Alan-
people are racist. Anyway,
Yeah. How was your 2 weeks?
nothing much happened apart from me celebrating one of my friends' 21st.
Nice.
Did you get drunk, Alan?
I did. I drank like
Was that the day before
Oh.
the podcast?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
the day
okay.
before the podcast.
Mm.
I
Are
drank like
you-
5. I drank like
Mm.
9 beers.
Are you like an alcoholic?
No. I barely drink normally anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only trying this gluten-free beer because I want to see what it tastes like.
Was it good? Is it good?
It's okay.
All right.
It's
Enough of an
not,
answer.
Like, the greatest. It's all right. You know, it's pretty middling.
Jesus Christ.
What is that?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, I got a mini fridge.
Oh, what you?
Is it on a fucking train?
It's not on a train. It's just the door opening. It drags on the carpet. I'm sorry.
You have a portable mini fridge?
It's not portable. It's just a
I
mini
mean,
fridge.
technically,
Oh.
it is portable.
I guess, but it's too big.
I thought
It's a
you
big
had
mini
like
fridge.
a mini fridge on like a wheel.
No,
Wheels.
no. That's just all the alcohol bottles clinging together when I open the door.
That's a lot of alcohol.
It was like 12 bottles. Continue. Please don't make this about me.
You're an alcoholic as well, but there's not much else.
Not much else?
I just school.
Yeah?
Yeah, school. Same here.
I hate school, but I do it. Anyways, Connor, since Kenny wants to go last, it's your turn.
All right.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of stuff. I started doing the GRE. I finished that. Did okay. Not as good as I'd like to, but definitely didn't fail it. As for
Why not? Were you trying hard enough?
I was trying hard enough. It's just that it's hard to relearn math and geometry when you have been doing it for 3 years.
Mm.
Anyways, after that, I dealt with my internship, and that's something. Definitely can't get into detail with that, but I think it's rewarding, and I hope to, I don't know, not be sure. And then I've had homework, and I've been running 2 campaigns for Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
The Pathfinder, but I got one that's happening in like a fantasy Wild West, and then I got another one that's based on like chivalry and joining knightly orders.
You're a big nerd.
Yeah, we all are.
Wow.
And then yesterday I got more drunk than I ever have, but guess what? I didn't have a hangover.
Kill yourself.
I'm strong, and
You're German.
I pissed it all out. And then
Why
I'm
didn't I
here.
think of that?
All right.
Why didn't you think of being German, Howard?
It would have been so easy.
It would have been so
know.
easy to do.
Okay, Kenny, I'm interested to hear your story.
Yeah, Kenny.
My story. Oh well, dating back 2 weeks ago. Let's see. I don't know what happened 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Just tell us what is the most
so-
memorable shit.
Sure. So I was gardening with my grandma, and I went to a porta potty because I really had to go. But
Okay.
then I realized that,
You didn't have to go?
I didn't have to go because as soon as I went in there, I saw the pooples, and I was like, nope, I'm good.
Okay, this was not the story I thought you were going to talk
And then,
about.
I'm
then you-
blue balling you.
and then
Okay.
drop the laptop in the toilet.
And then so my laptop isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
I can no longer edit videos. So it was a very strange thing. One day when I came back from school, my laptop was working fine the previous day. And then got home at night, was gonna edit some videos. There's the new gameplay or let's play that Cameron was doing with this girl, Vampire.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. But then I tried to turn on my laptop, but the power button was broken for some reason. I was like, what the heck? So I tried to turn it on, but then it wouldn't. So I also tried charging it, but it also wouldn't. So I was like, okay, well, this is some techie stuff. My brother's a computer science degree, so I was like, hey, check what's going on. He says that the battery's not working anymore, but the power button should be working okay. But I don't believe him because I'm pretty sure it's broken. I can't press it.
You
Okay.
should just take it to Geek Squad. You don't understand the computer science majors don't deal with hardware.
They deal with software.
Big doofus.
You know, I'm a doofy. I don't
Kill
know.
him. Kill him.
I should kill all computer science and majors. You're a
What?
computer science minor, aren't you, Cameron?
Yeah, minor. And so
Okay.
is Alan, right?
I'm a major.
You're a major,
You're a
yeah.
computer science major.
Yeah, guess I'm
Okay,
dying.
yeah,
He's dead.
you gotta go.
Only half of me is dying.
How about I kill all the English majors instead?
You know, the joke's on you because I'm already dead. So
Ooh,
for the next
get 'em.
couple of months until maybe the end of November, I'm probably no edited videos are going up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be full stream.
Yeah, probably podcast. I don't know if we'll do much gaming.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Play games with me.
We could do like a D&D session. That'd be easy. Just put the whole thing up.
I could do D&D. I could run a game for you guys every 2 weeks, maybe every 1 week.
That'd be
I would
fun.
say every 2 weeks, just because
Yeah.
I think that that'd make Alan more likely to play if he doesn't have to play it weekly, and I could probably set and prep a lot more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could have you guys run the same thing that I'm running for my friends, and that'd be good.
I forgot the timer again.
It's okay.
It's been 12 minutes.
Thank you.
I was thinking about prepping D&D myself, but then I've just been so swamped with papers and papers in the future. I have so much stuff coming up.
I mean, the
So
thing is
I'm not
that
gonna-
since I'm already playing Dungeons and Dragons, I can just work off of a lot of the stuff I'm already prepping for that game, and
Yeah.
I could just apply it to here. Like I did a whole session yesterday with all of that stuff being applicable to
Yeah.
happening here. What the fuck is that noise in the background?
It's a
I
fan.
think it's my fan.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, give me
Okay.
a
Sounds like
second.
a duck.
Speaking of D&D, and do you consider D&D to be realistic?
Oh, I think it's I think that they try to make it realistic.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make a segue, but it's not working very
Realistic.
Well, do you know what I think is also realistic?
What do you think is realistic?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You know, you can't add in these transitional things with nothing to back it up. So you know what I think is realistic?
I don't have the balls to transition, Kevin.
You know what I think is realistic when it comes to games?
well. What?
People. When you see people in games, you think, "Oh gosh, that's real."
Like,
Bring us into our first.
are you
game.
talking like multiplayer
Oh, really? Yeah, like playing with multiple
with
people.
multiple people?
You're not just a single people. You're a lot of peoples.
Are you talking like the Division, like the
The
E3,
Division.
where the multiplayer are talking to each other, like they're actual people in the game?
Are you okay?
And they're not
like, that's
swearing
how
at each other?
Like real people talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so real. I
It's
can't keep
very
up.
realistic.
Can't
Yeah,
keep
let's
this up.
stop this. This is going a different direction than I wanted it to. But we're talking about realism in game, both graphical and mechanical. And we want to get, I want to see your guys' opinions on this topic. Because I know this is big for Alan. And maybe.
Is it?
I think Connor and Alan might have two different opinions on this.
All right, Connor, tell me what you have the ideas in your brain, and I'll tell you why they're wrong.
About realism?
Yeah, how do you like playing games that are more realistic or more like stylized and kind of wacky?
I like games that I feel like
Well, not
it's-
wacky, but
I like games that are give you the most capabilities to do things, and they have the most they respond well to what you do. I like games where you have multiple things that you're capable of,
Okay.
And when you test and try new things,
Oh my
the game responds accordingly to the intention of what you're trying to do. So that's why I
Okay.
like Dungeons and Dragons so much, is because you can do anything, and because somebody's running it, they respond accordingly to what you do.
Hmm.
I can't always, start a shop up and one of my favorite games I thought was so realistic back in the day was Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
can't.
that's very realistic, Connor.
You try
That sounds like sarcasm, but I think
Dude, they have people in there, dude. Super realistic.
that game was so realistic for its time. It was like 2009, and like looking at the trailers and shit.
So is by your standards, is Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube also realistic?
Whew. Nothing more realistic.
I just
okay.
not.
I think our issue is
I think you're trying to derail me, man. Give me a second. The point is that I like games where you can have options to do things, and the game responds accordingly to it. I liked Red Dead Redemption a lot. I thought it was really realistic, but I can't start a shop up. I can't start a ranch up. I can't. I
Well,
don't know.
the
do
issue
all
with
these
that
things.
is that that's not the goal of the game.
I mean,
That's not what they
yeah.
want you to do.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, the idea is that it's limiting my.
I guess,
I feel
but
like
the thing with that game is it's not
but-
targeted to you. It's targeted to more, people who want to live that gunslinging life.
I know
They don't
but
want to make
still-
a shop.
But still, my point still stands. It still limits my freedom in that sense, regardless of their intention as to why they're
Okay.
doing it. They're trying to tell a story, and that's true, and it's still blocking my freedom.
Okay.
Even though it does, in that game, seem very realistic because you're playing a fully realized character, you're surrounded in a fully realized world, but you're very limited in terms of things that you can do after you play it for 100 hours or so. You realize you've done everything you can do. And
Okay. So
I'm
what?
not-
So what
I
you
want-
want is Grand Theft Auto 5,
Or 6?
6.
no, I
Or
want
7?
I want to play.
Or 8?
I want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh
but
my God!
With graphics.
Can you
Stop! So much D&D.
Alright, D&D is not the perfect game
I don't want to
And
talk about D&D.
D&D is the perfect game.
for weebs.
I'm with Connor's. I'm with Connor.
the
D&D
perfect
is
game
the
for
Let's-
I
people
mean-
who
it's
have
the
no
most
eyes.
real game because
Oh,
guess
God.
what? You play it in real life.
Do you? You don't. You play it in your head.
Yeah.
It's like
but that's-
having no console.
That's
But
like the
the-
most real thing you could
It's
ever.
actually not at
But
all.
But the thing is that I wrote a whole paper about the immersiveness of tabletop games. I could see if I can hunt it down, but
All right.
more or less, there's a lot of things that come from those kind of games that inflict
what are
in
you
your
typing?
brain. Even if you are imagining shit, you still feel a lot of things that feel realistic because there's cost and gains, and the shit you do happens. You can't reload in those kind of games. And that's realistic. I can't retcon something in Dungeons and Dragons. That's considered inappropriate. I can reload in a video game.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
gonna stab you with the screwdriver
Okay.
I'm holding in my hand.
We're
right
getting
now,
really derailed, I think.
Yes, we are.
Nothing is
I-
going in a line.
Let me hold your
but
hand
the
and
dragons
show you
now.
how real I
Let's
am.
talk about D&D.
Please no.
I'm just saying, I don't think realism is something necessarily good for games.
Yeah, games that try to be their own style and not try to be realistic, they age a lot. And the games that do try to be realistic.
So we agree, realism
Yeah.
is bad.
Realism is good when you have the time and effort into actually trying to make it realistic.
But okay, why would you play a realistic game? Because okay, if you want to play the most realistic game, it would be a first-person Sims game where you can only play as one person.
Yeah, but that's boring.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the point he's getting at.
Well,
Why would you
I
do
think
that?
I think your argument is based on being hyper realistic. Nobody plays a game to live out.
I mean,
their
that's
life.
what you were complaining about
Be
for Red
surprised,
Dead.
Connor.
I mean, I think you're assuming a couple things in my viewpoint without hearing my entirety of my viewpoint. I don't want to talk that much.
Okay, that's fine. I understand. So, let me just give some examples of realistic, and I want to see your opinion on them, Alan.
All right.
Okay,
Oh, shit.
so the one I got rudely derailed from was Grand Theft Auto.
Is that realistic though?
That's-
I
I mean-
it's like a 50-50 split.
Okay, so there's an issue I find with the game is that it makes you doing the most mundane things because it's in the world. They put it in there because you can. Like there's one mission where you're moving shipping crates, and that's the whole mission, and it's really boring, tedious. But they could have just skipped over that, but they didn't. They made you go through all that.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Detroit Become Human, where they make you doing the dishes, cleaning dishes,
Wow.
putting away trash. You don't have to
What a
do it, but it's
boring
making you
thing
doing
to
it.
do.
Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah. What a boring thing. No, why would you want to do that?
Exactly. Why
Wanting
would
to
you?
pee and poop after eating in video games.
Yeah.
Like really cool.
I kind of like the idea. Okay, so I'm gonna apply the game like Sims.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea where at the beginning you don't have a lot of money and you're forced to do these like mundane things like do the dishes or you're gonna have a smelly room.
Yeah.
But as your Sims improve and
Oh,
you
yeah.
get better jobs, you can afford like butlers and shit that automatically cleans and like it's good when you have that when you're able to move like advance and you can see how far you come where you doing the dishes was the most annoying thing and now you don't have to do it anymore. But if you're just stuck with doing the dishes the whole time, like you can't
Yeah.
advance and not have to worry about that anymore,
Mhm.
that's annoying.
Okay. So, since you brought up Sims, I wanted to say that the only exception for me is simulator games. I think that's the only game that should be as realistic as it can be.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Like, Euro Truck Simulator. That should be
Yeah.
realistic because it's trying to portray a job
But I
that
still
actually
don't
exists.
how those games are popular or why they're fun.
Well, because they're relaxing for some of them. Sometimes it's training.
I
It's not just
My own-
entertainment.
I mean,
Bread
yeah.
Simulator.
And Sims is fun because it's just creating a different life that's not yours. And
Well,
it's a little
going back
wacky at
to-
times.
Going back to the Grand Theft Auto
Hmm.
example, I think that the reason they let you do these mundane things in Grand Theft Auto is to encourage you to break from that. Grand Theft Auto is a game that encourages the player to release their inhibitions and just go all out.
Yes.
Just be
Yeah.
free in whatever you're doing. That's what the people playing Grand Theft Auto really want.
I guess.
So, I guess it's effective. The mundaneness of Grand Theft Auto. Now, I haven't played Grand Theft Auto ever.
Okay.
I've played San
Wow.
Andreas. That's it.
Okay.
But
Well,
Big
what you
loser.
have to know is
yeah,
that
I know I'm not a big video game boy.
there's a couple missions where it's just there's one where you just tow cars around. That's a main mission,
Mm.
and it's really
yeah.
boring. And then there's the shipping crate thing again. There's one where you do yoga with an instructor, and it's just really slowly
Yeah.
doing buns.
I think the biggest problem. This is not a problem. This is a point I'm trying to make. GTA also, in a sense, is also not realistic because while they're trying to make it a realistic world,
Mhm.
it's not equal in terms of perspectives.
It's
Everything
also
in
a
that world,
satire.
yeah, it's a satire.
Satire, yeah.
Everything's kind of skewed to the sense of being kind of ridiculous
All right.
in a
Mhm.
very subtle way. And I feel like, for me, that kind of pisses me off. I'd much rather, I think it's good. I shouldn't say piss me off, but I understand if you want to get that for a humor aspect. But at the same time, I think it'd be fun to have a Grand Theft Auto game set in a realistic world because I feel like it'd be a lot more intense.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, actually, can I move on from this for a bit? I want to switch topics a bit. So,
Sure.
unless you had something else to add, Alan.
No.
Okay. So, what you just said, you wanted something more realistic for GTA or something like that? Jesus.
In terms of tone
It's okay.
and lack of satire, yeah.
Okay. So, how about war games? This is a big one that tends tries to be the most realistic it can be. Usually,
What do you mean?
like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Insurgency.
I think the problem with those games is just that they get kind of boring after a while, so it's always kind of ramped up and shit. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, when I played it, I thought, man, if this has ever had to be like a crazy fucking war, this is as close as I feel like I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, I felt like everything was kind of heightened to an extreme because,
Mhm.
it's entertainment.
Yeah. And okay, with Battlefield, the new one, a lot of people had issues with the women in the war,
The whammon,
and they said it wasn't realistic to the real war, and people
obviously.
refused to play the game because of it.
Look, here's my stance on it.
Yes.
And any other media, we've already had this conversation, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
I don't like it when people use real life events and then change those real life events and make them different. Because I feel like it's disrespectful for what actually happened.
Okay, so you want it realistic for this case, for a war shooter.
Obviously.
Of a real war.
I think, but at that same time, if you had that viewpoint, you could suggest that the very existence of that game is disrespecting it because you're profiting off of deaths of people who died in order to recreate it for people's entertainment and making money off of that. You could apply that.
That's a fair point, Connor, but
Now watch me do a backflip.
All right, stick. I don't think it's the same thing because at least initially, most games that do that recreate the scenarios. Like I played like Medal of Honor when I was younger on the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
That's a good game, man.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like glorifying war or death, and most war games don't do that. It's just a lot of people mostly play these games for the multiplayer aspect of them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the main story, they usually keep it anti-war based.
Yeah, usually I think. Especially in the newer games, I think, as well.
Either way, I don't think inserting characters that would not be allowed to fight normally during the war is a good idea for several reasons, but I want to see what you say before you yell at me again.
I don't know. I just feel like, honestly, as much as I think that people would appeal to history, that's not who the demographic of what they're selling it are for. They're not selling it to historians. They're selling it to gamers. They're selling it they're selling it to the general populace, and that populace includes women.
Obviously.
As they appeal to gamers by making it an entertaining game, they can appeal to women and other races by including them in it.
Okay.
I don't really think that it's at the end of the line, it really shouldn't get to people that much. I feel like inclusion's just a thing that's gonna happen. The sooner you get over it, the sooner you can have more fun. And the fact that they're included in it too now means that they can have more fun too because they can see themselves as more characters. I feel like if you just include people, regardless of whether it's set on a certain aspect, we can all have more fun. Because I feel like
Connor, I don't. Okay, I'm going to interrupt you right there because I do not give an actual fuck if I see a Mexican player character and I play as them. I don't give a shit.
But
I don't understand people's fixations on looking at themselves in games when they can look at themselves in real life. It really, to me, indicates something that like you're not comfortable with who you are if you have to constantly look for that somewhere else.
Well, here's the thing. I could then contradict you with my opinion. When I play D&D, I constantly base characters off of myself. I constantly putting myself in because I'm not comfortable with my reality sometimes. But guess what? I'm not going to apply that to everybody else. I'm just making the general assumption from what I've seen in society. I think that while you have the right to your opinion, Alan, I don't think you have the right to apply that to the general populace.
I mean, that's fair.
I think a lot of people do want to see themselves in it, and I think that a lot of people don't. But people that want to sell the game, if they know that they can make more money by including people, because if they see them, they can buy it.
more money.
I think they can. I think that women will buy games more if they see women in it.
I know.
I don't think they're gonna buy Battlefield.
No, but
I think-
like if
I
there's a
think women
female
like that.
protagonist, I think so. A lot of people
Yeah.
love games with female protagonist. It's a big
Yeah.
selling point for a lot of people I know.
This is true.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I,
It's not just
you
for
know,
Battlefield
yeah,
though.
obviously.
So here's my question to you guys. I remember previously last year, Call of Duty World War II, I think.
Mhm. Oh my
That
They
game was
intro-
trash.
Was it?
I don't know. I
know.
don't play
That's
those
That's not
games.
true.
I just wanted to say that because I can.
Okay. So with that game, I remember a big thing was that you could play as a black female on the front lines, and you can also become a Nazi. So you could be a black female Nazi.
Dang.
That's pretty funny.
Progressive.
But they have zombies. I don't care.
Well, I mean, you know what? Sure.
I'm just gonna get out of this room right now. They're putting me in.
With the Call of Duty media, there was little backlash for implementing a woman in World War II. There was small
Yes.
backlash, but it wasn't as big as
As
Battlefield 5.
yeah.
With Battlefield 5, everybody's freaking out
Mhm.
just because of the woman on the front cover.
Let me do some research.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't
on that
say-
in a little bit.
I wouldn't say it's just because of the woman on the front cover, but a large portion of the argument I'm hearing now is because a woman is fighting on the front lines, which, I don't know if that's true or not, but I didn't really find any issues with it until, they started breaking the realism. Now,
Mhm.
back to realism, everybody,
Yes.
because that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Battlefield 5 is introducing things that are not, well, I guess, faithful
Realistic.
to World War II. Yeah, they're introducing this kind of cyberpunk kind of thing, or even just punk styled
Oh,
Wait,
into
what?
World War II.
Oh
There's
yeah,
the
Oh, so
like
samurai
steampunk
sword and
stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
like it either.
Mhm.
You know. If you have finished what you have to say.
Oh,
finish
I was just gonna say that with all of that sort of now being inserted into Battlefield 5, I think it's a complication with the promise to players. The reason why players are now backlashing against Battlefield 5 is because I think when Battlefield 5, the first time they released the trailer, they were like, this is going to be based off of World War II, and it was going to be a faithful recreation.
Mhm.
Now they're going off the rails. So now they've broken their promise to the players, and that's why we're seeing a backlash. I think if people saw women, it was just like, okay, fine, a woman's in there, who cares? But now that they're breaking their promise, that's why it's probably not going to do as well.
If they, I'm gonna be with Kenny. If they told us that, hey, this is a complete alternate history sort of deal, I'd be fine with it. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
like with Bioshock
Oh,
Infinite.
yeah. I did want to talk about this as well.
Bioshock Infinite's so good.
It's amazing.
It's so weird, right? But it's based off of what, colonial America?
Yeah.
So if they're saying, well, okay, we're gonna recreate colonial America,
It is obviously
a
not
faithful
real.
recreation, but it's not real, and they're going way off the rails, shit crazy,
hmm
and it's very good, and that's what they promise
Yeah.
players, and therefore, hey, you know what? It's a good game.
I think and it's also got a realistic look to it. At least it doesn't seem fake.
It's also
For the
got-
world.
well, I wouldn't say it's realistic. I put it more into stylized.
Yeah, I say
Yeah.
it's stylized realistic because it's based on real, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
real place. It's based on real history. It's based on actual humans, not fantasy.
hmm
I would say it's realistic.
My feet are cold.
That's
Well,
nice.
get some fuzzy slippers on, boy.
Yeah.
boy.
Get 'em
I
all
got some
wrapped
socks,
up.
but I sweated in the socks, and now the socks are cold, and it's me.
You are nasty, big boy.
I'm sorry, I have big feet.
Okay, can we? I want to talk more about like photorealistic games instead of the mechanics now. If that's okay.
Oh sure.
What's photorealistic?
So like the graphics are over the top, really pristine. They're based on real life, like our world, what we see.
All right, here's
So,
my opinion on
like Uncharted.
realistic visuals. I think they are big waste of time.
I don't think so.
Wait. I
No.
think people are way too. I'm gonna say words that may not seem appropriate to you, but I feel like everybody in the video game industry fetishizes visuals to an extreme.
Yes,
Like,
Oh,
holy
because it's
that's-
important.
shit, I want a 4K monitor. I want things to look hyper realistic.
I
I
don't
want
think
to
you
be
can
able to
see in
see the shit
4K.
across the room without my glasses on. Like,
Mhm.
relax, boys. As
I
long
don't
as the gameplay is good, I don't give a fuck what the game looks like.
I really
we
care
have-
about the
I-
game look. I
I
really
don't
care.
think we can see in 4K even.
You
I
can't.
don't- Yeah.
Human beings can't.
Yeah, that's just a wasted point. I do like. Let's put it like this: I like games that are fantasy and unrealistic. Like, I think that there are so many games that are realistic, but only for like, I don't know, like modern, somewhat sci-fi games, kind of
Like Watch Dogs?
like
Oh yeah,
The Last of Us 2. The
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 is coming out. That game looks so fucking realistic.
It's,
You know
Yeah.
what's
it's
a-
really nice.
Do you know what was a super realistic game that wasn't modern? God
Yeah.
of War.
Oh, I did want to talk about this as well.
God of War was super fucking realistic.
That looks
It's just-
amazing.
It's just like happened to look, oh, he's got a beard now.
And I think
No, dude, that beard is so real.
And I think it's really important for God of War to be really hyper realistic looking because of
tell
the
me.
grand set pieces, just the grim detail you need to get that feeling across. And
Yeah,
you,
so I had. Give me a second.
yes, well, I mean, I was
Grab-
talking. Give me a
Oh,
second.
God.
I'll be right back because I gotta go get something.
Guys,
Oh, okay.
new update. The final season of The Walking Dead for Telltale has been canceled.
I don't watch that anyway.
The
The
new one?
final season has been canceled.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
Really?
Oh God.
What?
yeah, it got
Oh,
canceled.
no.
Dang.
They have all they have is a skeleton crew that's, from what I'm reading, they have a skeleton crew that's working in the Minecraft story mode for Netflix, and that's about it.
Oh,
That sucks.
that's
Yeah.
weird.
Um,
That's sad.
We'll discuss that a little bit more after.
Yeah.
Let's stick to the topic for now.
hmm
You were talking about what God
God
of
of War and how it needs to be realistic instead of stylized.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I tend to, for a style or a look of a game,
Mhm.
realistic, in my opinion, is sort of synonymous with maturity.
Yep.
If you, for games that are more realistic, you'll realize that the tone of the game is more mature, and that's what they tend to be.
Mhm.
Now, there's something interesting about graphics, and something I want to bring up about Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay.
When it first released in last year of December or something like that,
Mhm.
there was this big buzz about Star Wars Battlefront 2 using this new technology known as photogrammetry,
Okay.
which is like this idea of taking a photo of a place and sort of recreating that in game with super hyper detail.
Okay.
And it was like amazing for the kind of technology that they were using. But at the same time, how do I explain this? The feel of the game didn't correlate, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
just with the sort of fun, goofy design of the characters. And you look at the background, the characters don't mesh well with the background. It's very odd, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Hold on
that's
back.
Well,
interesting.
I think EA put so much fucking money and time and effort into that game because they thought they were
Mhm.
gonna make so much money out of it,
Yeah.
They always do.
and then people boycotted it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Alan.
All right, give me the thing, because I have. I was thinking about video games the other day, and I came up and started sorting things into different categories.
Yeah.
And I decided to separate games into active and passive games.
Okay. Explain.
like-
explain
Hold
the
on.
two.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't interrupt me. So like,
So, anyways, as I was saying,
But that's what we do.
active. Oh my fucking god. Anyways, an active game to me is a game where the gameplay is the most important feature of the game, and a passive game is where the story is the most important feature.
Mm.
Okay.
The third one is I think a mix.
where
So that's-
you're actively involved in the story.
Yes, kind of like that.
I mean, shouldn't
I
you
think
always be actively invested in the story?
I mean-
No, not always. Because okay, I'm gonna give you a list of some games I got here.
Oh,
so
I
we
see.
got
Okay.
for like gameplay, you got some platformers, some fighting games, beat 'em ups, rhythm
Yeah.
games, you know,
Okay. That
card
makes sense.
games.
Mario.
So for like the passive games, I got like RPGs, walking sims, branching path games, text-based games, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say RPGs that are also active, they are only active when you have complete control over the ending in terms of like no matter what the ending changes in your decisions, not like Mass Effect 3 where
Yeah.
you only change a couple portions of the ending, but the main thing is always the same. Like,
Well, the thing with that is that they still fall under the inactive category.
Yeah.
Just because
Anyways,
how it's super focused on the story and it's not focused on the gameplay aspect of it. Gameplay encompasses everything about it.
let me
Sorry.
talk.
Yeah.
So for the mixed games, right here you got some D&D, some Dark Souls, 3D platformers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about visuals. I was thinking, I think games that are both mixed and passive usually rely or need better visuals to
Yeah.
keep people engrossed in the games.
Usually, but I think there's some circumstances. But that's not
Well,
the case.
obviously, there's always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. I would agree with that. A lot of RPGs tend to glorify graphics more than
Usually,
anything else.
Except for
It's when it comes to gameplay, it's always like, okay, gameplay secondary. We just want to know if it's balanced.
Mhm.
It's not about the style of it, because most RPGs tend to be really passive or simple. So with that, I would totally agree. Graphics are super important in RPGs just because of how long you're staring at the screen
Mhm.
compared to these active games where you need to be hyper focused to what's going on.
Okay.
All right.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No one has anything else to say?
I mean,
No, I mean, like, I agree 100%.
yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that.
Well,
With
where
what
do you
you're saying.
have some contentions? Where are your
I
contentions?
mean, because
I feel
think
I feel like there are some RPGs that aren't super realistic. I know there's some, but I can't think of them off the top of my head right now.
RPG Maker games.
Well, RPG Maker,
I got you. I got you,
guess.
my dude. So RPG Maker games, or like stuff like The Witch's House, Oni, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't rely heavily on graphics,
Mhm.
but it relies a lot more heavily on the story in those games.
Like
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
No,
There are no graphics for that game.
Yes, there are. There are occasionally pictures.
That you steal off the internet, but it's okay.
There
No,
are
'cause
pictures with crabs on them.
I don't think D&D is very passive. I think it's a more
absolutely.
mixed game than active because
Mm.
it also relies heavily on a story.
It does.
I think so. Well, no, I'd say it relies on the DM. I'd say it depends on their style. If you're railroading or if you're doing an open world, I think that if you're going through a dungeon, for the most part, either you live or you die. That's about it. But with an open world, there's a lot more things to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, with my opinion on that is that the whole entire game lives or dies depending on how active you are as a player.
Mhm.
If you're inactive, things fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it is a mix. You are paying attention to the story. That's sort of in the back of your mind, though. So, but your focus is on what's happening currently. So, for like another mixed game, I thought of Undertale.
Yes.
I would think that Undertale's not too visually stunning, but there's a heavy focus on gameplay and how you play.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there's also a heavy focus on the story. So I thought that was like a good example of a mixed one where they combine both the two and they both enhance each other.
That's a very good example, I think. I like it. So, I mean, why do you... Alan, why do you like stylized more usually? Why do you go towards stylized?
It's usually because the gameplay is a lot better, and I care more about mechanics than I care about visuals or story.
Okay, usually.
I mean, he
Yeah.
plays melee, so.
Shh, don't talk to me. Don't at me, Connor. No, but I mean, just overall, that's what I care a lot in a game. Like, I find story really interesting, but like, I play like Cuphead, Super Meat Boy, stuff like that. It's not super intensive into the story. It's more just gameplay.
Okay. I think I'm in the same boat as well. I like more stylized. It's more unique, I think. It makes me... I like the creativity behind it. With realism, you can't get as creative, usually. Like photorealistic, I'm speaking about. But, like... I lost track of mind.
Well, while you gain your bearings, I'll say that I also stand in the stylized corner.
Oh, okay.
Because with there's a free aspect to it where the creators themselves they can sort of realize their game in however they want. Where realism, you're grounded. You're doing something that's, faithful to the recreation of a certain point of life, or just a life story, or however you're taking the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And although those are cool, stylization games stick more in my mind just because of how bombastic and out of left field they are.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that.
What about you, Connor?
What was the question?
Stylized or realistic
What do you
games?
look for mostly? What do you play mostly?
I look for a good time, man.
So,
I play Mountain Blade Warband. That game is old as fuck. Graphics are shit, but you know what? It lets me be.
It's still realism. It's still trying to be real.
I know. I just want to be able to do whatever I want, which is why I never play video games.
But
Sure.
This is why.
Connor, you play video games a lot.
This is why I like playing games like, I don't know, that one.
The issue is with that answer is because in some stylized games, you could also do whatever you want. Same with...
I think that's fair, too. That's why I'm not really trying to say stylized or realistic.
You like both.
Because the thing is that in the sense of what we're saying, realistic then isn't just applied only to realistic then. If we're applying it in the sense of freedom, both stylized and realistic can do the same thing. If we're suggesting that stylized and realistic are based on graphics.
I'm talking more of like graphics. Yeah. And mechanics should always seem kind of realistic, or in that world should be realistic. Unless it's overly realistic.
Listen, if it's like if there's like games that have romance in it, I only tolerate stylized if it's like anime, and then otherwise it's got to be realistic.
For a romance? I've never really seen a romance realistic game. That is not... Is that realistic?
Not realistic.
Oh, dude, Fire Emblem is so real. When I look at the 2D anime girls, I get so reeled right now.
God damn it.
It gets me turned so real.
I meant stylized, but there are a couple of games. I guess Dragon Age Inquisition might be that in terms of like being realistic.
Yeah, but that's just a small portion of it. Same with what's that game, Mass Effect.
I just like the ability to kiss people. I just have such a great time when I know I can smooch anybody I see.
All right. I also remembered what I wanted to say.
Yeah, what was it?
Okay, I liked stylized because it shows more creativity, but I also really love games with grand set pieces and like action scenes, because
I'll give you a grand set.
It really blows my mind at all the stuff that's going on now, like within Uncharted and the new Tomb Raiders.
Spectacle.
Spectacle? What do you mean?
Spectacle.
Yeah.
Spectacle
it's just really grand. It's just fun to see that. To see like large land set pieces in the field of vision. I don't know. I don't want to go too in depth because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I also enjoy realism games like that over some stylized stuff. If that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
All right.
Sure.
It's kind of hard because there's always games that can do both. Like there's some stylized games with great action and set pieces. Like The Witness has a great landscape, and I guess Legend of Zelda has a lot of really cool places you could explore. Really good set pieces as well. It's just really hard. It's hard to combat the two. I think they're both very important. I don't think one's better than over the other.
It's a more subjective thing. But
Yeah.
are there any points of bullet points we need to get through?
I don't know. Are
We done?
I don't know. Do you want to talk about PUBG?
I'm gonna talk.
Hey guys, when I was logging into PUBG one day on my phone,
What?
Can we talk
Wait,
about
what?
this game?
Well, I just want, like, you know how the fight between Fortnite and PUBG is? Well, it used to be. I don't think it's big anymore. But, like,
Oh, the contrast between PUBG or Fortnite and which is the better game.
well, I don't want to say which one's the better game because that's not important to me. But I've seen people complain that PUBG is better than Fortnite because it has realistic graphics.
Who
But those aren't their
cares? They're the
They did-
same game, but one's got bouncy lakes.
And one has stolen assets.
Yeah, one has stolen assets.
Got him.
I mean, at least Fortnite made their shit.
Yeah, honestly. And it's stylized and it's more interesting to look at.
I mean, yeah, that's why they're doing so better. I mean, realistic is fun and all, but like, you know, the thing is that it's pretty dry. Like their graphics, while realistic, they're
Mhm.
dry in comparison to PUBG.
Yeah,
'Cause-
PUBG's very
not PUBG,
unfun to
no,
look at.
I'd say that mechanically, PUBG is better than Fortnite.
I
but,
don't think so.
It looks. Excuse me. I'm still
I don't
talking,
think so.
Cameron. Fuck off. I think that Fortnite looks a lot more fun to play.
Okay.
It looks a lot more fun, and there's a lot more things you can do.
Mhm.
You can build shit, and they try to introduce new new things like
Mhm.
bouncy shit and whatnot, and gliding, and all
And it
that good
updates
stuff.
more.
And one's free.
One's free, but that's not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
I
one's
guess. I think PUBG just looks too much like DayZ for me, and I just have.
Eh,
I hate playing DayZ because
it's too-
it was just too hard of mechanics.
Is it because you're just bad?
Well, I'm bad because it doesn't teach you anything.
I think it's because you're bad.
Well,
No,
what
yeah.
what are your thoughts on survival games like DayZ, where you have to survive? and
I
you have to-
really don't like them personally.
Mhm.
I mean, they can be fun with friends, but I would never go out of my way to play it. Like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the player base.
What about something like Ark Survival?
Ark's fun with people, but it's not. I don't. Survival games are hard for me. Like, I'm not bad at it. I'm just saying, like, I don't enjoy myself playing survival games like that, like realistic survival games. There's a few like stylized, just Don't Starve Together.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
That's enjoyable because it's not trying to be super realistic, and it's just collecting stuff and crafting, and I don't know. It's a tough issue for me.
You know, let me tell you something. When you don't wear pants and you're comfy in bed, you get sleepy.
Oh my goodness. We have like 3 minutes, so
Well,
All right. Let's just say, why don't we all go around and just say our favorite supposedly realistic game and our favorite stylized game.
okay.
Why don't we-
supposedly.
What?
Your
What?
favorite realistic
Why don't
and favorite
we-
stylized.
yeah. Let's go.
Oh, Alan
round the
Alan just
table.
left.
All right, I'm
Oh, he's
going
back.
to start
Oh.
with my favorite stylized game.
Okay.
My favorite stylized game is, I don't know.
It's tough.
It is tough.
I'll say
I know what mine is for
I've
stylized.
played a lot.
I don't know about realistic.
My favorite realistic game is probably The Last of Us.
Oh,
just because of how much it just resonated with me in the storytelling and also the mechanics.
Okay.
When I'm playing on the hardest difficulty in The Last of Us, it's just you really feel the difficulty and the sort of the situation that you're in, and you get cornered, and it's all very visceral, and I love it.
Okay.
For me,
yeah.
my favorite stylized game is GB Robo.
Fuck off.
Oh,
I like how when you just the sound design, how when people talk, it's kind of similar. It's like they repeat the same kind of like sound structures over again. Like that's their tone of voice. I like how when you walk, like it plays the sound of like a piano every single time your foot hits the ground. But when you pick up like your plug to move faster, the piano picks up its speed to move faster. Who's fucking mini fridge again?
Sorry, no, I bumped my desk and it hit my bottle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
stop being an alcoholic.
And then realistic game for me would be Witcher 3.
Ah, dang.
Mm.
I'll go next because you stole mine. My favorite realistic one is Witcher 3. And
No way.
my favorite stylized... Oh, what?
It's GB Robo.
Stop. My favorite stylized has to be Ori and the Blind Forest. I love that game to bits. It's so beautiful. It's just a great ride.
How much does it cost?
Is it 20 right now? The new one's coming out, and I'm like in tears when I saw it at E3.
What?
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I just accidentally left the chat.
Oh my!
I'll look it up right now.
It's yeah, $20.
Why don't you hit us with your games, Ellen?
Anyway, my favorite stylized game is A Hat in Time because that's a cute ass game. But
Who told you that?
shut the fuck up. I played it. I've been playing it. It's fun. But
I'm a silly
It looks so adorable. I really want to play it.
don't at me. My favorite realistic game, I guess, is For Honor because I don't like realistic games.
Wow.
Besides For Honor, what was the last realistic game? Realistic air quotes you played?
Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh yeah. You know.
Would you count Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess as realistic?
You know, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
There's a couple things there that just don't make sense.
I mean,
You know,
like it's supposed to. It's more
stylistically-
mature and realistic.
Stylistically, it's the edgiest game.
Yeah, it is.
So if you want to say edgy is realistic, go ahead.
Well, it's more detailed graphics, is what I'm getting at.
Sure, buddy.
Okay.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Whatever helps you from stop putting that gun in your face.
All right. I think we're done here. I've said my
sick.
things.
All right.
So join us next week where we continue to disappoint all our one viewer on this great and wonderful show.
I don't think anyone watches this, but it's okay.
Shout outs to my fan for chatting it up the first couple of minutes of this video. Shout outs to Connor for being an alcoholic. Shout outs to Kenny's laptop for letting us edit videos.
Rest in peace.
Peace out.
Bye. Love you all.
Bye.
Have a good week.